Spence Wallace.
Present.
Mr. Tawari.
Here.
Mr. Todd. Dr. Rivera. Ms. Bird.
Present.
Ms. Bird, let the record show that this is Dr. Rivera's third consecutive absence.
Yes. So, can we salute the flag?
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the
the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is our superintendent's report.
I'm going to start with the presentation first. So tonight we have Adam Warshawski, our supervisor of visual and performing arts, here tonight with one of our students, Harsh Grover from the high school, and they are from the Blue Moon Music Group. Blue Moon Music is a student club at Montgomery High School. Mr. Warshawski and Harsh are here tonight to share with you the club's mission and its successes.
Should we stand just up here? Sure. Okay, great. So first I just want to say thank you for giving us, and Harsh is going to do most of the talking tonight, about the opportunity to talk about this group. You know, with everything going on in the world, it is really important to share some of the spotlights and positives of things that are happening, I think, on a regular basis. And that's why I would like to take a moment and share this group with you. I think you're going to hear in a moment what this club does, but what is really impressive, which I don't know if Harsh will share with you or not, is that this is completely student-driven. The complete concept of this club, the running and administration of this club, and everything that they do is 100% student-driven. This was not something that teachers had an idea for and went to students and said, we should do this. It was the students coming to us, asking them if they could do this. And it has been an incredible success, and it's really exciting for us to have the opportunity to share it with you tonight. Harsh is going to be a senior at the high school, and he is on our executive board, and he's just going to take a few minutes and tell you what the club is all about. So Harsh, all yours.
Good evening, my name is Harsh Grover and I'm a senior, and today I'll just speak a little bit about Blue Moon. I'm just going to talk about what the club does and some of the impacts we've had on the community. And before I begin, I'd just like to thank the Board of Education for the opportunity to present about the club. I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Warshawski for his advice in helping making our club a success. So Blue Moon is an MHS student-led club and nonprofit organization that offers quality, low-cost music lessons in and around Montgomery. All our proceeds are donated to bolster music education programs that cannot properly financially support themselves. Next slide, please. We currently have 18 tutors in our program, and we offer a variety of different instruments for lessons. And these include guitar, violin, cello, piano, and more, and we expand our offerings every year. We currently tutor 25 students, and to date we've donated over $16,000. Next slide, please. And just this past year, despite the challenges of COVID-19, we've donated over $7,000. The first of the two organizations we've donated to is the Philadelphia Music Alliance for Youth. It's an organization that helps students in the 5th to 12th grade in underrepresented communities pursue professional careers in orchestral music, and we can be more proud to help support such a great initiative. The other organization we donated to this year is the Bound Brook High School, and they had numerous instruments that were in disrepair, and they could not afford to repair or replace them, and we helped to repair them, and we did that to over 25 instruments. Next slide, please. In the past, we've made donations to other organizations. The one we're very proud of is to the Rockport Fullerton School District in Houston, Texas, in response to Hurricane Harvey in 2017. Their band room got flooded and it severely damaged many of their instruments, and we helped replace a lot of them. And the other one is the Title I public schools, and these are schools that can't afford to properly fund their own music education programs. Just as an example, one of the school districts we donated to had a meager annual budget of just $500 for all 4 schools in the district. So we donated about $2,000, and that helped them get necessary supplies such as music stands, music reeds, and percussion instruments. So since its founding, Blue Moon has, I think, it's had a very positive impact on the students that we've provided music education to and the communities that we've affected. And then just in the last 2 years, we've greatly improved our services by increasing our instrument offerings and the number of students and tutors in our organization. In the coming weeks, we plan to launch a new website and implement a service to instantaneously match students to tutors to better meet their needs. We hope this can attract more students to our organization to help further our goal of making music education more accessible. I hope that in the coming years, Blue Moon can continue to grow and become a greater force for change through community service. Thank you.
So I just wanted to say too, like, this is really a huge win-win for us because our youngest students in the district get to be tutored by some of our most talented older students in the district. So that's just amazing, that mentorship. And then, of course, all the proceeds going to help other communities in their music program is really great. So thank you so much again for the opportunity. Do you have any questions for Harsh or anything like that? Yeah, Harsh, come on up.
Yeah, Harsh, thank you. That was so moving. So currently you're providing tutoring for students that attend Montgomery schools. What is like your plan in the next year or two to expand that outside of the community, particularly since this is a volunteer opportunity for other students who might not have access but have interest but don't live here?
Yeah, so actually the pandemic has been a silver lining in that regard because we've been able to launch our services online through Zoom. In addition, I mentioned the website and the service that we're launching. And so obviously this will be available to anyone, so we hope that they can access this. In addition, we've been a little bit limited by tutors, so actually just next week we have a freshman orientation. We hope to attract more students to join our club. And just through those 3 things, we hope that we can help expand this further.
Thank you so much.
So I guess to piggyback off of that, it sounds like you're trying to make sure people come in because obviously continuity is really important to keep on going because you're doing an amazing program. So do you find issues or problems getting people involved or?
No, not really. I think we're really lucky to have a great music program here at Montgomery, so there's no shortage of students who are excited to join. And we make sure that the students that do join are up to a high standard because we want to make sure that we're providing our students with a good education.
Well, thank you, and please pass on the board's, I think I speak for the board members here, the board's appreciation to the other members of the group.
Yeah, thank you.
So I just wanted to say that your leadership and volunteerism is exemplary, and I think the awesome ability and initiative that our students show never ceases to amaze me. So thank you for that. And I also want to thank Mr. Wachowski for always being the leader that actually sparks this in our students. And you know, even though he's not in the classroom every single day teaching, he is always on the ground with the kids, and we really appreciate it, Mr. Wachowski, and thank you for coming tonight, both of you.
Thank you.
Alicia, I thought you had a question.
Yeah, I had a question for Harsh. Are you interested in studying music in your future or any type of business management?
No, actually, but music's just been a hobby for me since like the 1st grade, and I played 2 instruments, the guitar and the violin. So I actually joined the club in my freshman year. So it was just a good opportunity for me to just apply my passion in a good way. So yeah.
Very nice. Don't lose that passion.
Thank you.
Can I ask, do you provide instruments to these students to use for the year, or how do you do that?
Sorry, what?
your students that are learning, do you provide instruments to them for the year? How do you?
Most students that approach us already have their own instruments, so we've never come across that issue. Although, if need be, Montgomery has a system where students who are in our orchestra or band, they can borrow an instrument out, so we can extend that service to some of our Blue Moon students if they need be.
And this question is for both of you. How open are you to receiving referrals?
Very.
If
Yes.
students from outside of Montgomery are interested in setting up lessons for those that already have instruments.
Yeah, we're always happy to have more students join. It can help us raise more and give back more, so it's always good.
Okay, so Mr. Washington, we need to talk, because I know some students that have been searching, right? They have the instruments, but they're having difficulty finding someone, an instructor.
Yeah, let's get in touch for sure.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm
Yep.
I'm elated. Thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a little report. Good evening, everyone. The district has been preparing, and we are excited to welcome our students back on September 9th. The required forms are available in Genesis. These documents must be completed in order to receive your child's schedule or teacher assignments by 5 p.m. on Friday. As a reminder, there was an executive order 251 that requires masks for all in schools. There was also an executive order 253 that requires staff to show proof of vaccination or be tested regularly. We will be continuing with daily COVID norms. Next week, we're going to host a COVID Back to School Forum with Dr. Mandelbaum and Stephanie Carey from the Department of Health on Wednesday, September 1st from 6 to 8. Details with the Zoom link will be sent later this week, so that will be a virtual meeting. We also are kicking off our parent education series beginning this week on Thursday with a focus on raising emotionally healthy children. Please see the district website for specifics and the links for joining the presentations. There's 3 of them coming up in the next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is new business from the Board of Public. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to bring any new business to the board for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments or questions must be directed to the board president. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. There are 2 times during board meetings that the public is invited to speak. One time is now, when members of the public are invited to bring any new business to the board for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. Later in the meeting, there will be a second opportunity to address the board regarding the action agenda. Before you make your comment, please state your name, address, and subject matter, being mindful of privacy rights regarding students and board employees, and to avoid any potential liability on the part of the speaker. The board discourages references to specific individuals. While directing your comments or questions to the board president, please understand that the public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions, but rather are offered as opportunities for you to share your thoughts with the board. The board president may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if a particular issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command with the school district before coming to the board for a response. Responses may be provided at the end of the session. However, there are times when comments and questions will require additional information gathering before a response is provided. We can ask you to come up to the podium if you have any questions or comments.
Thank you, board members. My name is Mohammed Ansari. I live in Montgomery Township, 6 Boulderbrook Court, Belmead, New Jersey. I guess, as we're preparing for going back to school, I think I just want to understand if you can kind of describe what are the challenges that were faced by the school district on how the whole hybrid format went, right? What were the lessons learned? And should there be a need to bring that back because of the Delta variant, which is increasing exponentially around the country? And we are having reports that children, little kids, are getting very, very sick and being hospitalized because of COVID, mostly because they can't be vaccinated right now. So in this interim period, should there be a need for potentially a virtual option or a hybrid option, because I understand some parents need to send kids to school, some prefer to keep them at home. I'm just trying to understand how the school board or the school district preparing for this new school year compared and with all the lessons learned from last year. I think that's my question. Thank you.
Over your head, by the way. If I could just move this down a little bit to get a little air. My name's Jennifer Drassler. I live at Cherry Hill Road, Princeton, New Jersey. It's nice to see everybody again. I was here a few weeks ago. I'm coming simply as a parent again, and I'm returning today, even though I know a decision was made very quickly after I was last here, after I advocated for choice for Mass. And I mean choice, meaning anybody can choose what they should do with their children. And I believe that parents should still have the ability to decide what is best for them, whether to mask or not, and that decision either way should be respected by all other parents and faculty. I don't feel, and I'm hoping based on what I've just heard from our president, that we're going to get some incoming information sessions, which I think sounds really promising. But I don't feel at this time I have received enough compelling evidence from our school system that masks on our children for extended hours per day is actually safer or actually reduces transmission or illness, regardless of a Delta variant that we're hearing about in the news that may be more contagious, but I still have yet to hear that it's more lethal to our children. I still believe that our children are extremely low risk. After these 18 months, that's one thing that we're still seeing time and time again. Even when I speak to my pediatric group, they assure me that this remains unchanged today with young kids. Second, I'm here to inquire about a very different topic, but even maybe more concerning, is on whether our teachers are currently receiving training from NEA or NJEA to engage students in personal conversations about their shot status, promote it to them, teach them how to access it on their own, and even more alarming is record these conversations in some sort of app that goes into a database. I'm not sure if that's not true, but I'm actually asking the board if we can find out if there's any information about this, because as a parent, it's extremely concerning and alarming. And if there is any truth to this, I hope the board would help find full transparency to let the parents know, because this is something that I would not consent to my children doing. We have physicians and pediatric group that we work with. We have family members. We have many physician friends that we talk to and get advice from, and I don't think that we should be putting this level of pressure and stress on our teachers to have to record such conversations with children. Again, I'm looking to prioritize the ability for our teachers to focus on the children and their education and not get distracted by mass proctoring or medical information that's really not necessary for them. I'm also concerned about something the board raised during the last meeting, and I was glad to see it in the slide presentation, is the lack of general parent engagement. I'm pleased to see a few other parents here tonight, actually. And what I would like to say is, I think the board would like to see more engagement as well. And that should be regardless of where you stand on any matter. We want to hear from more parents in general, and I'm in complete agreement with that. So it's nice to see a few other folks here. I will say this, that if there's any truth to some of this other stuff that might be going on to collect medical information on our children, it's forcing me to consider alternative plans for my children if I think their medical autonomy is going to be breached by a school system. So please, if we can find out more information, include it in the information sessions in the future, I would be very grateful. Thank you for your time.
Can you go back and did you fully understand, you were saying the teachers are training on shot status? Is that like trying to get teachers to sort of report on what kids say?
That's my understanding, is that there's some training that teachers are receiving in order to encourage or incentivize the children to divulge where they are with this particular shot status, forget any previous. We know we fill out certain medical information for the school, but it's for this one. And also encourage them to find out ways to seek it out on their own, which is also very interesting, given the age of consent, right? So I would just like to find out if the board can help us find out more information so parents can be alleviated to some degree, that is not really the case. Because I'm hearing otherwise, and that has some concerns. Thank you again.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Zayama. I live on Township Line Road in Bellmead. I'm here to ask board to advocate for parents' right to opt out of masks. Since last BOA meeting, more doctors came out and spoke about this. Johns Hopkins School of Medicine professor, Dr. Marty McCary, and Tufts Children's Hospital Chief of Pediatric Infectious Diseases, Dr. Meissner, did an analysis of science behind masking children and found not only it's inconclusive, but its masking has detrimental effects on young children. Wall Street Journal did an article on this subject just last week. They said, do masks reduce COVID transmission in children? Believe it or not, they could find only one retrospective study, and its results were inconclusive. So I'm here for the third time to ask you to provide peer-reviewed study that shows long-term masking of children is safe. Not an opinion of a doctor, but a study. Can you provide it before the school year starts? I'm also here to tell you about my son. He's been wearing masks for 6 months before the summer, and his speech deteriorated. He stopped moving his facial muscles, so his mask wouldn't rub on him, and I couldn't understand what he's saying. I had to ask him every time 3 or 4 times what he was saying. I was frustrated for me, frustrated for him, since I'm his mom, and I didn't understand what he was saying. And every day I would pick him up from school, and his mask would be soaking wet. And I provide him 4 masks every day. And I have 30 masks at home, all different kinds, so it's not like we didn't try. He chews on them. So tell me how it is okay. You're asking me to put a mask back on him and send him to school. Who is going to pay for a speech therapist when he needs it? That's what I want to know. And I want to know who's going to pay for behavioral specialists, since the chewing on a mask is becoming a habit. Do you have these answers for us? I would also like you to get out of your comfort zone and advocate for the kids that can't wear these masks. They just are not tolerated well with the little kids. I don't understand how it's possible the UK and Switzerland and other countries figured out how not to mask kids, and here in the US we just can't figure it out. I don't understand. Can you look how they're doing it and try this approach? I know there's a mandate, but I understand that you can advocate for the little kids at least. Send letters to governor or anywhere. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to let you start here.
Sure. I believe the first gentleman that stood up asked about hybrid and the format and if we need to come back. So we are prepared. So contact tracing is a little different. There's the closer spacing, social distancing is 3 feet. If students need to quarantine, there will be a quarantine education provided to them. There is no plan. We are returning full in-person live instruction for all students, full day. Mask wearing as per the executive order. And we are prepared for different scenarios, for select students that might need to quarantine, for classrooms that might need to quarantine, for schools that might need to close for a period of time depending on the situation, and for the districts. But as of right now, we are planning to open full in-person, full day live instruction. But we're ready for all the other case scenarios if they come to it. The second question was about, I think, masking. I don't know if there's a question asked or if it is. I think it's a different question. There's masking and, yeah, so there is an executive order that we have to abide by that says that everyone in the school buildings have to be masked unless there's a medical exemption. And then the third question was again about the mask wearing, and we do have services if you are concerned for your child. You can write a referral letter if you're concerned about speech and or any kind of behaviors, and we will assist you any which way that we can. So having some access is education.
Can any of those issues qualify as to not have to wear masks?
There would have to be a medical documentation and then approved by our school physician.
So if they had a medical support and then our doctor supported as well,
Correct.
they could do that.
Speech therapist can't, because they're not a doctor. So I want to get a doctor.
Correct. It would have to be a medical
But the
doctor.
speech therapist is not
No.
a doctor.
The speech therapist would qualify.
So
Maybe a speech therapist could work with someone else
Because they don't have the law right in front of them.
and create something that would be supportive. There was a question about, which was a little alarming, about teachers being encouraged to report. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I have no knowledge of that. I had never heard of that before.
Right, that to report conversations concerning shot status of students, that just sounds awful. And I know it's not something that we have talked about or even thinking about doing. And I'm just looking at the board now, but I'm assuming that we would work to make sure that didn't happen. Am I correct? In terms of the nods I'm getting from board members.
I'm not sure I understand the parameters of what's being discussed, but I mean, I want to go by what, our health professionals are talking about as far as that. I want to understand what as we said earlier, there's going to be a presentation talking about the district's plans for different things, and so that may be an issue that we will need to address during that session.
Even Mary as a superintendent,
You need to speak up.
the superintendent will have those conversations with the principals, but we don't have any knowledge or any access to any knowledge or whereby teachers are receiving training to have those types of conversations. As a matter of fact, in the state of New Jersey, if you look at the NJ 6A administrative code, it particularly addresses that any type of medical related conversations with students are not facilitated by the teacher, but by the school nurse, right? And even our school nurses statewide have not been charged to have conversations that evoke any type of bias one way or another around COVID vaccination or any other type of medical procedure or construct. So that is not any type of behavior that, as far as we are aware, exists in Montgomery Township schools.
Make a comment. My understanding is that that training is coming from the union, so it's not like our understanding is it's not coming from the Board of Ed.
Well, the union.
So- So I don't know how that works, but if there's training, it's called Made to Save, and there's like it sounds like a canvassing app called Reach, where you can put and document a conversation you would have had in school with a child, which includes their vaccination status. And if that's the case, then I think the district needs to take a stance that those conversations won't take place, or train the teachers on directing those conversations to take place at home.
because that's where those conversations should be happening, not in school. It's a really complex conversation, so it's putting teachers in an awkward situation too. I'm not a teacher, but I'm a concerned parent, and we're getting a lot of flip-flopping of information on that. So I'm not as concerned of what the unions are doing, but understanding that, just asking the board to set policy and communicate that among the educators that work in our buildings.
Thank you, and if I could take a moment.
Or during your time, but
I'll do,
go ahead.
I could do it during my time, that's fine.
No, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I'll look just a bit down. Jim Dolan, President of the Montgomery Township Education Association. I find what you're saying, I take it to heart, and I find it really disturbing that you're hearing these things, because I am a union member, I represent teachers, I represent the union, and to hear that is going against everything that we believe. We are here for kids, we are not here to identify vaccination status. I'd really be interested to learn more about where this is coming from, because I want to get to the bottom of it and make sure that our union and association is not being put in this light and it being put in this position, because that is completely wrong. I'm also happy to work with the Board of Education or anyone else to get information or verification or whatever else is needed. Like Ms. Spence-Wallace mentioned as well, we're talking about COVID at the moment, and COVID is, the topic of the day. But let it be known as well that teachers throughout their whole career deal with medical conditions of their students, of their children that they service every day. So while this is one topic, it's no different than anything else that we have to deal with. So we already know how to talk to children. We already know about keeping things confidential. And we get information when we actually need to know it. Otherwise, the nurse has that information. So this is no different than anything that we do on a daily basis. It just happens to be COVID related at the moment, and I can understand and respect how strongly you feel about that. And like I said, I'd like to know a lot more about it, because I have a direct line to leadership within the NJEA, and I can have that looked into as well. So anything that you can share specifically so we can get to it, whether it's someone posing as the NJEA or NEA or something else, whatever it may be, I would like to get to the bottom of it to reassure parents and reassure the board that this is not happening.
You probably talk to teachers that took the training.
I would love to speak to whoever.
Just to talk to the teachers that took the training. I mean, that's where the information's coming from, is the teachers that took
But when we,
the training and that are sharing the information.
but when we're saying teachers, I always want to be careful when I'm saying things that are in a generic form. When we're just saying teachers, are those teachers of Montgomery? Do we have names? So I want to stay away from just that kind of thing.
No.
And I'd rather, and I don't want to divulge names here, but
Exactly.
I just want to be careful that we're not saying things too generally.
It's more just to get the stance and what the training's about and make sure that districts are protecting privacy rights.
Mhm.
And I understand talking about medical conditions and not understanding them, but we're talking about an experimental pharmaceutical with a lot of complexities behind it. You have medical and religious exempted children that need to be recognized in the district as well. And educators might not know that, nor should they have to, right? That's not really a conversation that should take place at school for any reason. Conversation should be, I understand you're best off going to talk to mom and dad or your guardian about that, not where you can get it and the safety factors around it. So,
I think that this is also much more political than other medical things that
Absolutely.
our teachers
Yeah.
oversee, to be fair,
Yes, absolutely. Well, I can guarantee you that being a leader of this district and having close ties to the NJEA, I have heard of absolutely no training that's being offered like this. Absolutely nothing. Not this, I can't say I know everything that's happening, but I do have close ties. I get emails, I get communications, I stay in touch with leadership at the state level, and I can tell you there is no training being offered to try to get the vaccination status of students.
Is there anything called Me to Save? that you
I've
know?
never heard of that.
And there's no gift cards and promotions being run?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right, so why don't, it
Yeah.
looks like we are ignorant of this.
Yeah, that's,
And we've learned some things. So if you can actually send that to us,
mhm.
so we can investigate it further. We certainly agree with you that these things shouldn't happen, and, you know, have our full trust in our union that this is not, you know, their concern or what they would want to do in terms of focusing on kids and you know, working to have a good school year. So let's make sure we can figure out how to make sure this doesn't happen, and if we need to create a policy or make a statement against it, we can work on that as well. If you would like to actually give us language on that as well, that would be appreciated, and we can work from that. And I want to thank Jim for being flexible and willing to jump up right now and start
Absolutely.
addressing these things. I'm going to go back to a bit of the comments, and then it'll be your turn.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks again for sharing. In no way do I want to dispute what you're hearing. I want to know more about it, you know, just to be clear, so I can get to the bottom of it as well. I take this very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think it's Jay Dolan at
MTSD.us.
US. All right. So, so you can go to him too. Yes, the board is concerned about the amount of parental engagement in
Yeah, we'll send you.
Great.
Is there any
what's going on. So we certainly want to work
Yeah, that would be
on
great.
increasing that. One of the things that was discussed is the forum that's going to happen on the 1st to discuss some of these things, and we are bringing the medical people there so that you can have these discussions within themselves. There'll be Dr. Mendelbaum and Stephanie Carey. So that will also be able to give you the rationalizations or reasoning, I should say, reasoning why we're making some of the decisions we're making. So we can work on that, and then I'm thinking that you all should think about creative ways of addressing some of your issues as well, since we are limited by the state and the laws that we are going to be given. So think about what's going to work best for your families in this situation, or how you can, you know, put yourself within the right categories so that everybody can be happy with the results. I guess is the better way of saying it.
And I pulled up the mask exemptions, they're the same as they have been. So when doing so, it inhibit the individual's health, such as when the individual is exposed to extreme heat indoors, when the individual has trouble breathing, is unconscious, incapacitated, and otherwise unable to remove the face covering without assistance, when a student's documented medical condition or disability as reflected in their individualized education program or educational plan pursuant to Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 precludes use of a face covering, when the individual is under 2 years of age, when an individual is engaged in an activity that cannot be performed while wearing a mask, such as eating and drinking or playing an instrument that would be obstructed by the face covering, when the individual is engaged in high-intensity aerobic or anaerobic activity, when the student is participating physical, education activities in a well-ventilated location and able to maintain a physical distance of 6 feet from all other individuals, and when wearing a mask or face covering creates unsafe conditions which to operate equipment or execute a task. So those are the.
I have a question. And that's for the state?
Approach the podium, please.
Just
State your name and address.
And that's for the state you just read? So is each,
Excuse me, can you state your name and address?
oh, Liz, I'm sorry, Liz, and I live in Skilling,
Yeah, what's your last name?
Rodenbell. So is what you just read for the state, but every county is different? Can you elaborate more on why some schools are doing choice or option, you know?
In
And
the state of New Jersey, we're not
supposed to have an option. It's an executive
But there's a
order.
lot of counties that are.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't there a lot of?
Middletown and one more.
Middletown,
Yeah.
Lowell.
I can't speak to any other county.
So it's just like select schools, pretty much.
Right.
It's an executive order by the Governor Murphy, so it's the state of New Jersey.
But his
you are
hometown
correct-
is,
You are correct that there are
right,
counties or there are boards
Yeah.
that have made decisions that disagree with that, and they have done that on their own. And so they do risk, I guess, the sanctions of
A
violating.
disorderly conduct, everyone will be charged with a disorderly conduct that is 6 months imprisonment or up to $1,000 in
6
fine.
months in prison if you don't wear a mask?
If the board,
Oh,
If you don't follow the law.
that wouldn't surprise me.
Can we defer some of this conversation until, and include it on the September 1st presentation to cover some of these topics?
well, undoubtedly, I believe this
Yeah.
will come up during that time period. I'm trying to remember now, the other thing I was going to discuss. I was just going to say, it certainly seems that, to have a mask that's totally drenched, has some significance. So I think, things like that should be investigated as to the significance. So, thank you. I think, are there any other comments or not? Okay, so I'm going to move forward
We
then.
do have a question.
Sorry,
I
go
think you
ahead.
said one thing, are we going to be reading that letter that references something about masks that's on the agenda? I was just curious to hear about it. It's a little bit.
There's a correspondence to the board.
Oh, the correspondence to the board.
The way that, I guess traditionally the way we've done this, the method of correspondence to the board is we just acknowledge that it has been sent. We don't discuss them. So if you are asking me, you are asking about a particular, is there a particular one you're asking about?
Yeah, I don't know if somebody can scroll down, it's probably in the correspondence, probably number 5, maybe. Actually, it's number 7.
I do believe there was one letter that was wanting masks, and I do believe we had another letter that did not want masks. So, we're still dealing with a split community on this issue. And that doesn't even include the amount of letters that our superintendent is getting daily. I think she gets hundreds daily on all of these issues. So I'm going to move forward then and ask Jim Dolan if he would mind giving us the MTA official report.
Thank you. Jim Dolan again, President of the Montgomery Township Education Association. So welcome community members, board members. Pleasure to be here again. Just wanted to give you a brief update what's going on around the MTEA. Our building school leadership teams are still busy at work, processing and doing everything they need to for a great opening of school. And when I say processing, we're continually processing all the new guidelines and executive orders that come through to prepare for a great opening. We also had a district leadership team, which was just this past week on the 19th, to discuss a variety of topics, some of which were continuing our work with equity and how that's going to be going this year. And what was really nice, we had our new staff academy for all of our new staff members. And it was so nice that Superintendent McLaughlin and Assistant Superintendent Mr. Popper invited Max Rodriguez in on that, on a little bit of training to keep everyone up to speed. So it's something that we're doing at the MTA level, and obviously something we're doing at the school level, and it's so nice to be working together at the same thing and being included and talking to the same people with the same message. So that's really exciting. We're continuing our discussions on our district goals that we're going to adopt and reviewing all the latest information that's coming in with COVID and all the guidelines and such. So we are currently working with the governor's latest guidance on the mandatory vaccines. and obviously working very closely with Human Resources to collect the vaccination status of staff members as per the directive, and working on testing and see what we're going to do with that for those who are unvaccinated at this time. The end of August is always a very busy time, and as we get ready for the exciting beginning of school for students, and it always becomes a little more hectic with this extra layer of COVID that's always thrown on it, at least for the last 2 years. But we're doing everything we can to get it going. I want to end with some good, exciting, happy news as well for our association. Stacy Anderson is our Pride Chair. You've heard many of the things that Stacy has done throughout the year. Just most recently, she's giving out gift baskets to our first responders here in Montgomery. So her first stop was the Montgomery EMS. So we posted a couple of pictures on our Facebook page. I invite you to go take a look at that. And she'll be making other stops around the town as well. So it's another way for us to acknowledge our first responders and give back as well. So that was really fun and exciting. And in other good news, 905 books were given out over the summer to 126 students for our summer reads initiative that we give out to try to stop that summer slide and keep kids reading and engaged and excited. So we're really excited that we were able to do that. This is the second year in a row. It started with COVID happening. We said, what's a great way to really stop that summer slide, get the books out there. So we have members volunteer and deliver the books. So they did a wonderful job. And really proud of our MTA members for doing that and really connecting and reaching and keeping that connection all throughout the summer. And I think that's it. So exciting stuff and looking forward to the beginning of school.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Are there any board member delegate or representative reports? That would include CPAC.
There was no meeting in August.
All right, then we move on to Assessment Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Right. Thank you, Madam President. So I share that responsibility with the Assistant Superintendent, Damian Papa, and there was no meeting scheduled for the month of August. Thus, there is no report at this time. Our next scheduled board meeting at this time is September 28th, and there is a September meeting. So I will be presenting the first report for the 21-22 school year at that time. Thank you.
Next is the Anti-Racism and Reform Committee, ARC. I'm filling in for Christina Harris. The committee met last week and discussed the postal audit, went through that, and also is planning to look at the code of conduct at the high school in the future. They also basically talked about the committee structure and are trying to decide if they want to remain with the current structure or change that in the coming year. So that was basically what we talked about in ARC. I'll move on to Operations, Facilities, and Finance Committee, OFF, which I'm doing as well. Let's see, turn to the right page for that.
Plus, I have some notes here for easier. Everything's clean with it. You don't have to fill.
Okay, thank you. So, in the OFF, we are talking about potentially creating a water arrangement with the county in Skillman Park, and we'll be furthering investigating that. Also, it's been suggested that we might create a rain garden at the what do you call it, the water retention area at the upper middle school. So we're going to look into that as well. We have had success this year. I think we've talked about it before with It's been this SSO free lunch and breakfast program for the summer, and that will continue during the fall. We will be providing breakfasts and lunches to students. What will also happen, parents will probably get a note in Genesis, is that correct?
Yes,
Genesis?
on Friday.
On Friday, asking if your children want breakfasts, and these breakfasts will be held during the first session of the day during class. And if you say yes, then breakfast will be provided for them. But if you say no, we won't bother you. We are also working on replacing HEPA filters throughout the school, in particular in music rooms to help students breathe there. And we are looking into how we will be consistent in how we use our facilities, who we rent to, and how we charge. So those are the things that we are working on right now in OF. And of course, this month as well, will be the beginning, I guess, of the budget for some departments as well. Moving on now to Policy and Communications Committee, PCC.
So for the second meeting in a row, I'm going to echo Zelda's comments that the policy committee meeting did not meet. I will be talking to the members to schedule our next meeting. I've also reached out to the superintendent's administrative assistant to understand scheduling on that side, and also see what policy updates are pending that we need to incorporate into the next meeting. And so I expect that at the September board meeting, I will be reporting out some updates.
Thank you. Next is Human Resource Committee, HRC.
Yeah, so the Human Resources Committee met August 17th, and like Jim mentioned earlier, we talked about the COVID protocols that were shared with staff, and that's all I can share, because we did have executive session where we discussed a lot more private matters regarding staff, so.
And we will be voting tonight on new staff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the president's report is a little shorter than I thought it was going to be. We had decided to table our board evaluation until our next meeting. So we will deal with that then, which means we'll also deal with board goals at that time. I also went to the new staff academy. That was a great experience. Convocation is coming up next week as well, and tomorrow is the driver start day. It's their introduction program, and hopefully other board members will join me in going to the bus driver opening as well. So I think that takes care of it. The other goals we were going to work on, we will be waiting until we go through the appropriate collaboration to determine which goals we're going to have, and we will also be working on the merit goals for the superintendent. So moving on to the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve? Well, first, I'm going to stop a second. Are there any minutes that anyone needs to abstain from?
Can we vote on?
So you want to vote on each minute individually?
Yeah, I just want to see in case I wasn't there. I think I'm going to abstain from August 3.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve July 13th executive and business meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? All right, can I have a motion to approve August 3rd's executive session and business meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed and one abstain. I would like to acknowledge the correspondence to the board. And we did have answers for some of the questions. I think one was, will we be using lockers at the high school this year? And the answer is yes.
And the locker number will be provided in Genesis with the child's schedule.
And I think the other was about IDs.
Yep.
And yes, we will have IDs as well. And well, there was one more, will we have updated forms for COVID in the mornings? And yes, we will. So that answers the questions that were out there from the correspondence. Next is our second public comment. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to address the board regarding the action agenda for up to a maximum of 3 minutes during the period of the meeting. All comments or questions must be directed to the board president. The board president may need to refer an issue to a superintendent if a particular issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command within the school district before coming to the board for a response. All responses will be provided at the end of the session. Any comments, any public comments, any board comments?
I wanted to ask you, since you said that masks are mandated, if you have asked for any studies that were done that showed that it's safe for kids to wear them. I mean, has anybody went back and asked?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you?
The whole thing? Repeat the whole thing?
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Since you said that masks are mandated from the governor, have you went back and asked him for a study that shows that it's safe for kids to wear the masks for extended periods? Has anybody went back and asked that? Since masks are medical devices, then there has to be a study that shows that they're safe.
I can ask our school physician and the Department of Health that question.
All right, thank you.
If you send us a letter with that question, then
Letter
we can,
to whom?
to the Board of Ed, DD of Ed, or PBERSH at UPSD, then we can respond to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, we'll now move on to the action agenda. Let's see, can I get a motion to approve action items 2.0 to 4.2?
Motion moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? We need a roll call.
Ms. Franco Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Speck?
Yes.
Ms. Spencer-Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Chouari?
Yes.
Ms. Burch?
Yes.
All items moved.
So we will definitely have a board meeting sometime early September to deal with some of these things. And please attend the September 1st meeting. Will it be virtual or in person?
It will be virtual,
It will
so
be
the link
virtual?
will go out at the end of the week. It will be Dr. Mandelbaum and Stephanie Carey will speak on the health information, and then we will have breakout rooms for P4, 5-8, and high school for specific building questions.
And
6 to 8. So 6 to 7 is the information part, and 7 to 8 will be the breakout rooms.
And if you have any questions or suggestions of things you would like us to talk about or have a forum about, please submit that. We will be discussing that again soon on that, as well as meeting board members as well as the superintendent, having time to sit down and talk with each of us. I'm going to ask board members if they have any comments or statements they'd like to make before the end of the meeting.
Not at this time, no.
No? Any comments? No? We're together. I just want to thank everybody for coming and say how much we appreciate you being here and your patience because unfortunately we did run over. So thank you for all of that and have a good evening. And we hope you have, I guess, a good beginning of this year. Thank you. And, oh, I need to move forward adjournment. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned.